Italy is a country southern and western Europe. It is located on a peninsula that extends into the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, with the Alps on its northern land border, as well as several islands, notably Sicily and Sardinia. Italy shares its borders with France, Switzerland, Austria, Slovenia, and two enclaves, Vatican City and San Marino. Its capital and largest city is Rome. It is the 10th largest country by land area in the European continent, covering an area of 301,340 square kilometers, and the third most populous member state of the European Union, with a population of nearly 60 million. Home to some of the greatest artworks, historical monuments and food on the planet, and with the kind of varied landscapes that you often have to cross continents to see, Italy elates, inspires and moves its visitors like few other countries. From its art and architecture-stuffed cities to its astonishing diversity of natural landscapes, dramatic coastlines, serene lakes, pristine mountains, and those famous rolling hills, picking just a handful of destinations to visit in this wonderful country is no easy task. Join us on this unforgettable journey to see some of the must-visit places in this beautiful country. Number 10. Milan. Milan is located in the province of Milano, in the west of the Lombardy region. Milan is a popular destination for a city trip and which you would like to get to know for its special architecture, trendy fashion, and many restaurants. But you can also go there for business purposes. Together with Rome, Florence, Venice, and Naples, it is one of the 5 most visited cities in Italy. During the city trip, you will find the perfect combination of authentic Italian architecture, modern buildings, and many other Milan attractions. You need to visit the Milan Duomo, the Castello Sforzesco or the Arco della Pace, but also other top attractions such as the San Siro Stadium, the Teatro alla Scala, and Da Vinci's painting of The Last Supper are sites that you should not miss. If you prefer the modern part of the city, look for the commercial properties in the innovative financial district Porta Nuova, where you can also be charmed by the Bosco Vertical. These are 2 residential towers, where the residents together can enjoy almost 9,000 square meters of terrace, on which almost 1,000 trees have been planted. In Piazza del Duomo you will find the famous Milan Cathedral. The construction of this church started in the 14th century and lasted until the 20th century. The architecture of the Duomo, the Baroque facade, the mosaic, and the paintings will enchant you. Visit the Cathedral Museum to learn more about its history and details, and go to the rooftop to enjoy beautiful views of the Italian city and get a closer look at the pinnacles. Castello Sforzesco. Visit this castle in Milan, Italy to learn a little more about the history of the city. You will learn about the influence of wars, famous Italian families, and the construction and restorations that have taken place. Not only does the castle itself attract attention in terms of architecture, you will also appreciate the decorative elements inside. Several museums are housed in this castle, such as the Pinacoteca, the Egyptian Museum, and the Archaeological Museum. When we say there's something new that crops up in the city every week or so, we are not exaggerating. Milan never ceases to surprise and has something to keep everyone of all ages occupied. Number 9. Naples. Naples is the regional capital of Campania and the third largest city of Italy, after Rome and Milan. From its charming waterfront under the shadow of Vesuvius, to its beautiful and bustling historic center, Naples is a stunning city. Its position as a meeting place for various peoples since ancient times has had a profound impact on Naples, making it a cultural hub. This is evident when walking through its streets, full of artistic and architectural treasures. It is a city with a unique magic, blossoming with natural attractions. From amazing food to all kinds of entertainment, you will never be bored. The capital of Campania lies in the bay of the same name, next to the volcano Vesuvius, and offers a spectacular view as far as the islands of Capri, Ischia, and Procida. The historical center has been recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site because of its monuments that best represent European and Mediterranean culture. Piazza del Plebiscito, in the western part of the city center, welcomes you with the symbolic embrace of the iconic colonnade in which the Royal Papal Basilica of San Francesco di Paola is set, one of the most important examples of neoclassical architecture in Italy, which is well worth a visit for its magnificent interiors. On the opposite side of the square stands the imposing Royal Palace, the historical residence of the Spanish viceroys. Strolling through the streets of the historic center of Naples, among the squares, monuments, and castles, is like walking through 20 centuries of history and discovering the true soul of the city. The excavations of the archaeological area of Pompeii are one of the most famous attractions of Naples and Italy. It was a place that was located near the volcano of Mount Vesuvius. In 79, the volcano erupted and covered the city with volcanic ash. Many people died and the city fell into oblivion, until the 18th century, when efforts were made to remove the city from the ash layer. Today, Pompeii is thriving for tourism, historians, and archaeologists. There are plenty of other places to visit in the area. Taking the ferry isn't only an option if you're going to islands like Ischia and Procida. You can also take a boat from the city to Sorrento, Positano, and the Amalfi Coast. Number 8. Verona. Verona, a UNESCO World Heritage City and the home of Romeo and Juliet, a place of history, culture, music, architecture, and high society. A land of great traditions, from opera to fine food and wine. Whether you are more interested in history, art, the famous opera in the arena, or simply prefer a glass of fine wine, in Verona you can find something to suit you. Whether you are traveling alone, as a couple, with your family, or with friends, Verona is bursting with activities and places to suit all tastes. Let's find out what to see in Verona to understand its soul. Starting with Verona's historical symbols, the Roman amphitheater, known as the Verona Arena, is the icon of the city alongside Romeo and Juliet. Built around the 1st century, its solid and imposing structure hosted gladiator fights. Its name derives from the sand on which they fought, and it could accommodate up to 30,000 spectators. Then we have Verona's fortresses. The second must-see is Castel Vecchio in Verona, a fortress built for the self-defense of Congrandi to della Scala. Today, it houses a museum hosting 20 masterpieces, including Mantegna's The Holy Family, Rubens' Portrait of a Woman, and Bellini's Penitent Saint Jerome. Verona's theaters and their museums are totally unmissable, especially the Teatro Romano, a 1st century open-air theater, one of the best preserved in northern Italy. It houses the city's homonymous archaeological museum and a theater, home to the Verona Summer Theater. Tour around Verona's squares. You cannot truly appreciate this iconic city without experiencing Piazza Bar in Verona, one of the largest squares in Europe. Dominated by the arena and numerous historic buildings, it is a meeting point for chatting, walking, and enjoying aperitifs. The whole province of Verona is full of beautiful landscapes and unspoiled little villages, from green parks, such as La Torreselle, to mountain trails in Lasenia, from strolls along the river to the rolling hills of Valpolicella. Number 7. Sardinia. Sardinia, a 9,301 square mile island situated in the Mediterranean Sea, just west of the Italian mainland, lures travelers with its unique blend of ancient culture and arresting coastal views. Decorated with a garland of golden sand, Italy's second largest island is a beach paradise with options for every sunseeker. While flashy resorts attract super yachts and poolside posturing, there's still enough space to find quiet corners and marine parks suitable for snorkeling and scuba dives. Exotic in look and feel, the coastline is awash with color. Waters swirl with shades of indigo and skies are streaked by coral sunsets and flocks of resident pink flamingos that nest in salty lagoons. Although often overlooked, inland areas are equally intriguing. Roads spiral through mountain villages, juniper forests and limestone gorges, laced by hiking trails and mountain bike routes. These cliffs and valleys provided a haven for early civilizations, reputed to be some of the oldest in this part of the world. A strategic crossroads floating almost in the middle of the Med, Sardinia was visited by Romans, Phoenicians, and megalithic people, whose tombs and temples remain. There are more than 200 beautiful beaches to choose from in Sardinia, ranging from hidden coves to boulder-strewn bays and strips of silky, soft white sand. Highlights include Stintino's jewel-like La Pelosa on the west coast and Cagliari's 9 km long Poeto Beach in the south. Rivaling the Indian Ocean with its turquoise colors, the northeast coast is especially scenic. Take a boat ride around the Maddalena Archipelago's Geomarine National Park, cruising past Badelli's protected pink sand beach and wild island Caprera, where Garibaldi retired. Further south on the Costa Smeralda, luxury yachts bring A-listers to the resort towns of Porto Rotondo and Porto Cervo, where swimwear is strictly reserved for showing off rather than getting wet. Beyond her dazzling coastline, Sardinia's rugged, mountainous interior presents excellent hiking opportunities. Monte Nido, inland from San Teodoro, rewards walkers with a series of natural pools and waterfalls, while serious climbers should tackle the Gola Sigaropu, one of the deepest gorges in Europe. Number 6. Bologna. Capital of the metropolitan city and of the Emilia-Romagna region, Bologna is located between the Tuscan and Emilian Apennines and the heart of the Po Valley. City of art, culture, and commerce, with a streamlined trade fair organization and a well-known manufacturing and motor tradition, Bologna is famous for its almost 40 kilometers of arcades, the longest in the world, recently named a UNESCO Heritage Site. Rich in art and history, Bologna will amaze the visitor in all seasons, with its enjoyable and lively summer atmosphere or with the magic of Christmas illuminations. A first look at the city is from the beautiful Piazza Maggiore, where medieval palaces look down upon an intense public life and economic activity. They perfectly combine with modernity, while preserving their antique charm. For instance, Palazzo d'Accersio, home of the municipal administration, houses inside its ancient walls the Art Nouveau-style Sala Borsa multimedia library, as well as Roman archaeological excavations. It is not possible to leave Bologna without having visited Palazzo Poggi, headquarters of the present university and of some university museums, or without having admired the 17th century sundial and the wonderful chapels in the Basilica of San Petronio. Among the symbols of Bologna there are the Neptune Fountain by Bologna, and the medieval towers, particularly the magnificent two towers, Asinelli Tower and its neighboring twin Garisenda. Other highlights are the porticos and the organ of Santa Maria dei Servi, the small window over the canal in Via Pila, and the Manifattura delle Arti district. Number 5. Tropea. Tropea is a seaside resort with sandy beaches, located on the Gulf of St. Euphemia, part of the Tyrrhenian Sea, on Italy's west coast, and was named Most Beautiful Village in Italy for 2021. According to legend, Tropea is said to have been founded by Hercules. Whether this gave the coastline its nickname as the Coast of the Gods or whether it was the sparkling waters and breathtaking panoramas, La Costa degli Dei must certainly be on your itinerary when visiting Calabria. And Tropea is undoubtedly the star of the show. The most famous destination in Calabria, the historic town teeters on the rocky cliff edge, towering above the white sands and turquoise Tyrrhenian. The town offers plenty of things to do, from strolling the historic center in search of cocktails by candlelight, to swimming through the water clear as a bath, to treating your taste buds with the famous red onion of Tropea, or nduja-filled dishes. The best way to discover Tropea's delights is by foot, ambling round its winding streets in search of charming nooks and crannies, with small piazzettas, balconies draped in flowers, and trattorias tucked down charming alleyways. The history of Tropea begins over 2,000 years ago in Roman times, and due to its position on the sea, it played an important part in Roman, Norman, and Aragonese periods. The Centro Storico is the main part of the town, and sits 50 meters high upon the cliff top. The town was once walled, only accessible through the town doors and defense systems. Many of the ruins were left by the Byzantines, but the town has been torn apart and rebuilt throughout history. The iconic monument of Tropea to feature in every postcard is the Sanctuary of Santa Maria dell'Isola, Sola, built on top of the rocky outcrop in front of the historic center and surrounded by the blue Tyrrhenian. It's been a sacred spot since the 4th century monastery which sat on the island, and scaling the steps to reach the church is a must for every visitor to the town. Visit the sanctuary for spectacular views of Tropea itself, and be sure to snap a sunset photo of the island from the Piazza del Canone. Tropea's white sandy shoreline is one of the best beaches in Calabria, due to its spectacular backdrop. The town towers above Tropea Beach, built into the cliff face, and the island rocky promontory that is home to the Sanctuary of Santa Maria dell'Isola. The water here at Tropea Beach is some of the most spectacular you'll ever find, crystal clear and perfect for swimming and snorkeling. Float around and soak up the sunshine, or swim around the Isola to discover a hidden sandy cove or jump off the rocks. Number 4. Venice. The beautiful Italian city of Venice is located on the Adriatic Sea in the northeast of the country and the capital of the Veneto region. The city in Italy, known for its mass tourism, is divided into 6 districts, and some of the most famous islands are Lido di Venezia, Murano, and Verona. The special thing about your visit of Venice City is that there are no normal roads in the tourist parts of the city. There is one long bridge between the mainland and Venice City, with only one road and a railway. Every other transportation runs via the famous canals. Losing yourself in Venezia's charm is easy, but there are an endless number of bucket list activities and century-old landmarks to see while you're there. Touring top attractions like St. Mark's Basilica and the Doge's Palace is a must-do. But you may also want to dive into lesser-known pursuits that are specific to this region of Italy, such as the local culture and the history of the famous City of Canals. Whether it's your first or 10th visit to Venice, the Basilica di San Marco still will impress you. This famous cathedral has so many details, from golden domes with paintings on the inside to beautiful decorations and statues of animals on the outside. Every visit you will see something different in and around the church. The St. Mark's Square is the starting point for many activities in the area. On the square are the Museo Corre, the Archaeological Museum, Tour dell'Orologio, and the Basilica di San Marco and the adjacent Doge's Palace. Close to the square is the Grand Canal, where the piers for various boat trips are located. The square is especially notable for the galleries that surround it. There are several transport options on the water, but the gondola is the most authentic way. Choose a good time so that your route is not too busy. Agree on a price for the destination and complete your gondola ride with something extra, such as classical music, a serenade, or a special evening trip. Number 3. Capri. Opposite the Sorrento Peninsula, in the Gulf of Naples, there is a world-famous pearl, the island of Capri, known for its beauty and its worldly atmosphere that has enamored writers, artists, and show business personalities. The island has a lush and unique nature, even hosting some animal and plant species that only exist here today. Capri is a mix of history, culture, landscape, and art, a mix that has made it the protagonist of legends and tales, many of which have a place that unites them. The world-famous Piazzetta, the fulcrum of the island and the village, the essence of its identity. All around, immense and mighty, the splendid sea that frames this marvel, a sea of travelers and fishermen, of tourists and explorers, a sea that has contributed to making Capri the myth it is. A popular way to see the natural wonders of this southern Italian island is by boat. Popular attractions such as the Blue Grotto, Green Grotto, and Faraglioni can be seen during a short trip circumnavigating the island, but you can easily stay on land to have a good time as well. Two walkable and attractive towns, Capri and Anacapri, have shops, historical attractions, and restaurants littered within their winding streets. And two picturesque beaches sit on either side of the island at either Marina Grande or Marina Piccola. If you're a history buff, you can visit multiple museum complexes showcasing Capri's storied past. And if you enjoy getting outside and finding the perfect view, you can either take the chairlift up Mount Solaro or take a hike to the Natural Arch. Every trip to Capri starts at Marina Grande, the tourist and commercial port of the island. Ferries and hydrofoils arrive at Marina Grande from Naples and Sorrento. In summer, there are also arrivals from Positano, Amalfi, Salerno, and Ischia. In Capri, from the highest part of Capri, it is easy to understand how this snail-shaped island may have captivated Roman emperors, writers, and poets. In the historic center you must see the Casa Rosa, Red House, an eclectic-styled construction from 1876 built by an American colonel. It now exhibits a permanent collection of paintings with views of the island, and 4 Roman statues found in the Grotta Azzurra. The San Michele Church is not to be missed. Also noteworthy, the splendid Neapolitan Majolica paving stones from the 18th century, the ruins of the Barbarossa Castle, the excavation remains of Villa Imperiale di Damacuta, the chairlift vistas up to Mount Solaro, and of course the San Michele Villa. Number 2. Sicily. Sicily is the largest and most populous island in the Mediterranean Sea and one of the 20 regions of Italy. It is located in the central Mediterranean Sea, south of the Italian peninsula. It is separated from Calabria by the Strait of Messina. Its most prominent landmark is Mount Etna, the tallest active volcano in Europe, and is one of the most active in the world. Just 3 kilometers separate Sicily from mainland Italy, but it couldn't be more different. Even the locals see themselves as Sicilians first and Italians second. It's truly a place of extremes, where you can find a remarkable selection of archaeological sites, dreamy beaches, paradisiacal islands, raging volcanoes, and quaint towns and villages, all within a few hours' drive. With a history dating back 10,000 years, its strategic location at the center of the Mediterranean has given Sicily an unparalleled historical legacy. Fewer places have seen a history influenced by the Phoenicians, Greeks, Romans, Byzantines, Arabs, Normans, French, Germans, Spanish, Italians, and British. Naturally, such a rich history means plenty of fascinating gems on the island, and you could spend your entire trip stepping back in time and discovering its eclectic past. Sicily is packed with so many historical sites that it may as well be an open-air museum. One of the most famous spots is the sprawling Valley of Temples, the largest archaeological site in the world. Located just outside Agrigento, these 8 temples date back as far as 500 BC and are some of the world's most perfectly preserved Greek ruins. Other fascinating sites include the temples of Segesta and Selinundi and the Greek temples of Syracuse, Palazzolo Acreide, Tyndareus, and Taormina. Engulfed by the Mediterranean, Ionian, and Tyrrhenian seas, Sicily is the ultimate beach destination. There are endless sandy beaches where warm, clear waters lap gently against the shores. In the northwestern part of the island, the idyllic San Vito lo Capo is sheltered by a towering headland and backed by swaying palm trees. With 3 active volcanoes, Sicily is the perfect location for volcanic exploration. Take the narrow-gauge railway or cable car, or if you're up for a challenge, try the hike up to the top of Etna for magnificent views. You can also catch regular eruptions on Stromboli and other volcanic phenomena, such as the steaming mud baths of Vulcano and the underwater gases of Panarea Island. As well as the top activities and attractions, Sicily is full of hidden gems. Away from the tourist trail, for example, the hidden beaches of the Vendicari Nature Reserve are a string of beautiful coves with no other sign of life except for the herons, egrets, and pink flamingos, which appear in spring and autumn. Another must-visit, especially on a hot day, is the turquoise swimming pools of Cava Grande, filled up by the clear mountain stream, which tumbles into the pools. This is a fantastic place to escape the crowds. Rome, historic city and the capital of Italy, located in the central portion of the Italian peninsula, on the Tiber River, about 24 kilometers inland from the Tyrrhenian Sea. Rome was called the Eternal City by the ancient Romans because they believed that no matter what happened in the rest of the world, the city of Rome would always remain standing. Exploring the city center by foot, surrounded by glorious monuments and colossal remains, takes you back in time to the glory that was Rome. With its unparalleled history, Rome is the third most visited city in Europe and the 14th worldwide. It attracts visitors from all over the world who are impatient to discover the city's impressive monuments and archaeological sites, not to mention its renowned cuisine and its lively atmosphere. The Colosseum is the main symbol of Rome. It's an imposing construction that, with almost 2,000 years of history, will bring you back in time to discover the way of life in the Roman Empire. The construction of the Colosseum began in the year 72 under the Empire of Vespasian and was finished in the year 80 during the rule of the Emperor Titus. After completion, the Colosseum became the greatest Roman amphitheater, measuring 188 meters in length, 156 meters in width, and 57 meters in height. During the Roman Empire and under the motto of bread and circuses, the Roman Colosseum allowed more than 50,000 people to enjoy its finest spectacles. The exhibitions of exotic animals, executions of prisoners, recreations of battles, and gladiator fights kept the Roman people entertained for years. The Colosseum remained active for over 500 years. The last recorded games in history were celebrated in the 6th century. Since the 6th century, the Colosseum has suffered lootings, earthquakes, and even bombings during World War II. Demonstrating a great survival instinct, the Colosseum was used for decades as a storehouse, church, cemetery, and even a castle for nobility. The Roman Forum was where religious and public life in ancient Rome took place. The Forum is, along with the Colosseum, the greatest sign of the splendor of the Roman Empire that can be seen today. After the fall of the empire, the Roman Forum was forgotten and little by little it was buried under the earth. Although in the 16th century, the existence and location of the Forum were already known, it was not until the 20th century that excavations were carried out. Interestingly, the place where the forum was built was originally a marshy area. In the 6th century BC, the area was drained by means of the Cloaca Maxima, one of the first sewer systems in the world. Vatican City is an independent city-state located in the heart of Rome, ruled by the Pope. It is the center of authority over the Roman Catholic Church. The Vatican is the smallest state in Europe. It has a total area of 44 km, and inside its wall live approximately 1,000 people. In this small state lives the Pope, in the Apostolic Palace, surrounded by beautiful gardens. The palace is open to the public, but visitors have to book in advance. The Vatican City was declared independent from the rest of Italy on February 11, 1929, with the signing of the Lateran Treaty between Pope Pius VI and Mussolini. There are three main attractions in Vatican City: St. Peter's Square, St. Peter's Basilica, and the Vatican Museums, where the Sistine Chapel is located. St. Peter's Square is one of the largest and most beautiful squares in the world. It is located in Vatican City, at the feet of St. Peter's Basilica. The construction of the square was carried out between 1656 and 1667 at the hand of Bernini, with the support of Pope Alexander XII. St. Peter's Basilica is one of the holiest temples for Christendom and one of the largest churches in the world. Besides, it's where the Pope presides many liturgies all year round. The construction of the new basilica began in 1506, when the old basilica had been torn down, and was finished in 1626. It was consecrated on November 18, 1626. Several renowned architects designed the temple, highlighting the works of Bramante, Michelangelo, and Carlo Maderno. The basilica was called St. Peter's after one of Jesus' 12 disciples, known as St. Peter, who became one of the founders of the Catholic Church and was executed in Rome and buried where the basilica now stands. The Pantheon of Agrippa, also known as the Roman Pantheon, is one of the architectural masterpieces of the Italian capital. It is the best preserved building from ancient Rome. The construction of the current Pantheon was carried out during the reign of Hadrian in the year 126 AD. The name of Agrippa comes from the place in which the current building is built, which was previously occupied by the Pantheon of Agrippa, built in the year 27 BC, and that was destroyed in a fire in the year 80. At the beginning of the 7th century, the building was donated to the Pope Boniface, who transformed it into a church, in which function it currently finds itself in a perfect state of preservation. We are arrived to the end of this short virtual travel. Beside of these iconic places what we are visited, there are many more beautiful sites to visit. To be able to share with you other amazing places, cities, and different countries, please like this video and subscribe to our channel to get notified when we are ready to take you for the next journey.